So, if you watched the last part 5 in the series, you would have seen that I finished putting on the bumper, the diffuser and the exhaust on my Carrera S to give it a GT3 style finish at the back. And no, I'm never going to be suggesting my car is a GT3. I've now had the car like this for a couple of weeks. What does the exhaust sound like? I've also got a couple of errors to resolve. A tyre pressure warning since I've had the wheels refurbished, and I've also got an LCA lane keep assist warning. So let's delve into the warnings first, and then let's talk about the exhaust. So first up, let's deal with the errors. We've got two. One is the lane change assist warning, and the other is a TPMS warning. I'm also expecting a couple of other ones, definitely some historic ones because of the previous work that's been done on the front bumper before I bought the car. So I bought this top-on RT Diag Pro. Let's see if we can solve them. So on first startup, the top-on, you need to register it, you connect it to your Wi-Fi network, and then you need to download a bunch of updates. Some of it is general firmware, others are specific to your model of car. So obviously let's get the Porsche ones downloaded. The top-on comes with a cable that connects into the unit itself, and then you just need to plug it into your OBD port. Okay, first up we're going to be locating the OBD2 port, which is just under here. So let's get the top-on plugged in. Every time you plug it in and then want to read the car, it sets itself up. It does a VIN scan to identify the exact model that it's plugged into. It just takes a couple of seconds, and then you can get into running the diagnostic, which runs across all of the modules in the car. This is where you're going to see a status report list, which I'm showing you now. You can see the items running up, and this will have basically everything on it since it was last cleared, basically. I think some of these others were basically where I took the bumper off, so they've just been registered where I was doing it. There's another one that I'm expecting in this list, which I did see. Where is it? Yeah, front seat cushion temperature sensor. Yeah, the heated seat stopped working about a month ago. I basically got an issue there. Tyre pressure monitoring. Yeah, that's what I expected as well. Lane change assist. Restricted view. Interesting. Let's clear all the codes. Let's see what we're left with. Tyre pressure monitoring system. Interesting. Okay, so the warning's still there. So let's go into this menu. This is the TPMS reset menu. Selecting Porsche, and it takes you through a process where you need to teach the wheel IDs in. When I looked, they were all zeros, so they weren't set. So I'm going to run through this now, selecting wheel IDs unknown, and then you go through a process of it learning what those wheel IDs are and ultimately resetting. Now this takes a little bit of time. We're going to speed up here 5 minutes without moving the car. Okay, only about 10 seconds left to go. Resetting, no idea what's going to happen. Hopefully this solves the problem. So naively I thought that was the process, but it wasn't. So the process now really kicks in from this point onwards. Okay, so it said I need to release the pressure on the front left valve. And on it goes, wheel after wheel. But you can see here we've now got a wheel ID. So it looks like progress is being made. On to the next one. Not the most exciting thing to happen today. Okay, so it seems like it's now finished the test. Let's run another scan and get a status report. Oh, still got the... Okay, so that didn't fix the problem. So let's just go back through the diagnostics again and see if we can find out what the issue is. Maybe I've just picked the wrong thing in the menu. So I did delve deeper into some of the other menus where you can actually see the data stream. We can see the wheel ID as registered, and also it looks like it's getting some kind of signal, but something's missing somewhere. So to avoid the risk of boring you to death, I couldn't clear the code. So I'm going to drive the car for 30 minutes. That's what it suggests. See if restoring the wheel IDs has actually made a difference or not. If not, it's off to Porsche or maybe one last crack, but I'm not going to show that on this video. I'll give you an update in the next one. So let's get on to the exhaust then. What are my thoughts on that? Aesthetically, I think it looks great. I do really like the center exit, although I think the back of the 911 looks fantastic even with the original bumper. But sound-wise, I've definitely seen a change in what the sound is like on the car. Let me just demonstrate to you on startup what it sounds like. Now, when I bought my car, it did already have a sports exhaust fitted to it, and I upgraded it to one from Design 911. It was a Design Tech exhaust, and it did sound good. And the main advantage, what I was looking for, is just to kind of lift some of those crackles that you get on upshifts and downshifts. Now, the new exhaust that I've put on, that's where I'm seeing the difference. I think on startup, it sounds good. There was a little bit of bass to it, not too much drone. And you hear the turbos, that does actually sound quite good. But on upshifts and downshifts, the crackles almost entirely disappeared. And I'm no exhaust expert, but let me show you the previous exhaust on the car, and I think I know why that is. Okay, so this is the previous exhaust. This is the Design Tech exhaust. And just imagine that the cats are about here, feeding round, and it's then connecting to this exhaust at the back, and that's where they would connect to. What you're getting with this exhaust is a bit more flow, some more curves, giving the opportunity for any like unburnt fuel that's released here to give that sound. It's an opportunity to bounce and resonate off of here. And this is where the sort of switchable part is that is still retained on my exhaust. Now, that is really what's kind of causing the problem, I think. On the new center exit, it just runs straight through. There's no opportunity for it to bounce, it just runs straight into the box and out the back. So, I am going to get some information really. I'm going to consult an exhaust fabricator and see what we can do. See if we can solve this problem. But it's not going to be in this episode, I'm going to have to come back to it. If you do want to see what happens with that, please subscribe. You'll get notified, it costs nothing, and you'll see how I resolve this problem. I'd like to get that improvement back. And on the LCA issue, let's just keep this super brief. So here is the previous bumper. in the bumper, effectively the LCA sensors go roughly about here. I'll show an image of actually where it is on the car with the bumper removed, but I think that this effectively either fits closer to the LCA sensor, or these are slightly thinner here. I don't necessarily think that's the case, but some of the research suggests that might be the situation. But the error's cleared. Let's see what happens. I'm not hugely fussed about it being enabled or not, but I'll give it another drive and see if it's disappeared. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the video. It was a mixture there of all different bits. I know the diagnosis thing probably wasn't as entertaining as trying to fit the bumper. I really do hope I can get it sorted. It shouldn't really be that hard. Possibly a journey to Porsche, but if anybody knows of how to get this working on the top down, I'm going to give it another crack and see if I can fix it. But yeah, please continue to watch, and the next video that I've got coming up I'm still working on, but let me give you a clue to what that is. It's going to be related to this thing.